Joining match.
It's game on!
Starting match.
15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're underway. Round starting in 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Joining match.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Echo Master League Week 4. Today we have a very exciting matchup as we have Team Chaos versus Team 200. Now, a side note, these two teams are undefeated currently in this season. Joining me in the booth, I have H Penny. There we go. And myself.
Woo.
While we wait for these two teams to ready up, I would like to add a couple facts while we wait. So, for Team 200, they have been a team since the start of EML. So that is including preseason all the way up to the current Season 3 of EML. I believe they've had a couple roster changes here and there, but it's always been generally like the same 7 people a part of Team 200. They also were the previous season's champions. They were Season 2 Echo Master League champions. And with that, they have been undefeated since the start of Season 2. They lost Season 1 finals, but since the start of Season 2, they have been undefeated up until now. Another thing, Team Chaos has also remained undefeated this season. They have not lost a single round. They have amazing goalie Milky Way. And a quote from Only is how they suck. But starting off this neutral joust, we have Team 200 coming in. Bappo passing it to Jax. Jax is going to sit there and hold it. Going to reset it back to Kroger's. Kroger's trying to hit the back to Jax, but AJ was on the way. But Jax still gets that recovery. He's just going to look for that stack. Going to walk it down a little bit, doing a little bit of pump fakes. Going to reset it back to Kroger's. Kroger's now going to walk down the disc. Going to hold it a little bit. Do a little flip all the way up the ceiling. Only going to add a little bit of pressure onto Kroger's. Kroger's still walking it. Going to pass it all the way down to Mikey. Mikey now with the disc. Off boot. Going to do a little bit of dancing. And going to go for a 3-point shot. That is a 3 points for Team 200 to start off the round. Wow.
Interesting seeing how they opt for a bit of a slower start, actually, just, you know, taking their time. They have time to boot, and of course there is certainly plenty of time here. And we're gonna see Zuko take that joust, opting for much of a faster go, trying to get the pass up to Mikey, but is not quite gonna connect. Kroger is on that stack, gonna get the pass back over to Jax. Jax holding on to it, again, taking their time, looking for those passes, finds the pass to Mikey. Mikey hanging on to it. Just waiting for passes. We're seeing them try to draw out the pressure. See, just try to play very strategically, which is smart. We're seeing Kroger's hold on to it, waiting for those passes again, just stalling. And the pass back to Mikey, just really playing back and forth with it right now. Tries to get the pass up over, but it does not connect to Bappo. It's going to end up in Milky Way's hands. Milky Way going to attempt to get the pass over to Zuko, I think, but it doesn't quite happen. It isn't going to end up at Jack's hands. Tries to get it, but the save from Milky Way is going to stop that from happening. Zuko has that, clearing it back into 200 side of the field.
All right, we have KJ going for that open shot and banging that open shot. Wow. One thing I am seeing from Team 200 that is different is they're playing very passive-aggressive compared to how we've normally seen Team 200 with their very pressurized play style. I don't know if you've noticed that. But
Yeah,
starting
I
off,
definitely see
we
what you
have,
mean.
absolutely, we have Jax. Jax passing it to Kroger's. Kroger's passing it to Mikey. Mikey going to walk it down tunnel. Mikey going for an open backboard shot and dinging off the ring. Milky Way has the disc now. Milky Way going to pass all the way to Only. Only with the disc in tunnel. He's going to pass it all the way down to Zuko. Zuko is going to barely miss the disc, but he's going to go to KJ. But KJ gets snatched by Bappo. Bappo with the disc now. He's going to hold it. Going to throw it all the way down the left tunnel. But unfortunately, Milky Way is there. Milky Way going to throw it down to KJ. KJ with the disc now. Going to throw it all the way up to Only. Only misses the disc. It is a loose disc going into Jax's hands. Jax going to clear it down right tunnel, but the stack is there. Milky Way gets the disc, throws it all the way to Zuko. Zuko now off ceiling. Going to look for a pass. Going to walk it down the net. Bounce back up the ceiling. Holding this, looking for that open pass. He's going to see Milky Way off. Boom. Milky Way with that open pass. Going for a 2 points and securing 2 points for Team Chaos.
Very beautiful movement. Love seeing that. We really get to actually kind of see here, like, just how comfortable these teams are playing around the disc or not. Just, they know they have to play their, they have to pace themselves. They know they have to be careful with making sure their passes connect and whatnot. Because both of these teams know, if a mistake happens, if someone slips up, it is being punished immediately. And we're seeing how they play around that. Especially, I'm seeing on both teams, seeing very, very pass-dependent gameplay. Not even us, I mean, it definitely stacks as well, is a big factor of it. But we're seeing just really playing around those passes. And when those passes slip up is really when things happen, like we're seeing here in the middle. The pass does not end up connecting, and it is now in Chaos's hands. Zuko has that. He's going to try to get the pass over to KJ, but it has not happened. Back in Milky Way's hands, but the stun! Stun after stun here. We're seeing Kroger's with it again, trying to get movement back into the bubble, juking around a bit, but no one is really pressuring them despite that. You see the pass back up to Mikey in the reset, sending it back over to Kroger's. Kroger is passing it down over to Bappo, moving that pressure around until they try to get it, but the save from Milky Way once
Beautiful
again
save.
stops it from happening.
That was a beautiful save coming from Milky Way. We're going to have Zuko trying to slap it down, but it goes into Mikey's hands. Mikey going to pass to Kroger's. Kroger's doing a little dance move as he's free floating. Going to hit to Pac-Man. Pac-Man to Nugget. Nugget all the way down off floor. Kroger's looking for that pass. Going to pass all the way to Jax. Jax now with the disc. Going to reset it back to Kroger's. Kroger's now going to do a little dance move. Pass it back to Jax. Jax gets stolen by Zuko. Zuko slaps that out. Is a stack down. Gonna go into Only's hands. Only gonna throw it to KJ. KJ gonna throw to Zuko. Zuko gonna try to reset it back to KJ, and it does successfully get the bounce back to KJ, but it is stolen by Jax. Jax now with the disc. Gonna look like an attempt for a Kung shot, but it is unsuccessful as Milky Way grabs it, gets stunned out by Kroger's, but then Kroger's gets stunned out by Only, then Only gets stunned out by Jax. It is now a loose disc. Who will get there first? It looks like Team 200 will get there as Bappo has the disc. They're playing very safe right now. They don't want to be too aggressive, as if they make one mistake, Team Chaos's fast tax could get there. So Bappo's going to pass it all the way to Kroger's. Kroger's going to throw it down to Jax. Jax with the disc. Going to reset it back to Mikey. Mikey now. Mikey looking for an open pass. He's going to sit there, walk it back a little bit, looking for a very safe option. That is something we haven't seen from Team 200, is this very passive, not even passive aggressive, very passive, stacked, and pass heavy plays we've seen. So we have Jax. Jax gonna pass it all the way to Bappo. Bappo now with the disc. Gonna pass to Mikey. Mikey gets headbutted out the disc from his hand, but it goes into Jax's hands. Jax gonna pass it all the way up to Bappo. Bappo off clock and puts it in for 2 points.
And I definitely agree with what you're saying, honestly. I do feel like most of the time we see 200, we're seeing them play very aggressively, really heavy on the stacks and whatnot. And we're seeing them know that they need to take their pace a bit more here, and they're playing much more heavy on the passes, I think, to try to combat Chaos's playstyle a bit. These teams are starting to get to know each other a bit, and we're seeing how they're playing very evenly against each other, actually. And also going for the wide open three. What a three indeed. Wow. What a shot.
That looked like a quadruple ding. Hit the bottom right, hit bottom left, hit top left, and then put it in the top right of goal. That was like a quad ding. But this will be Team Chaos now with the stack. Is Zuko. Zuko gonna go on ceiling. Gonna pass to Only. Only gonna pass it all the way down to KJ. KJ now gonna walk it up the field a little bit. Resetting it back to Zuko. Zuko looking for a pass. Is going to pass to KJ. KJ with the disc. Gonna do a little dance moves. Looking for a safe pass. Is gonna pass it all the way down to Milky Way, who is open. Milky Way now looking for that pass. Gonna pass to Only. Only with the disc now. Gonna pass it down to KJ. A little bit too far forward. So that is a loose disc. It will be going into a slap by Team 200. It is once again a loose disc, but it will go into KJ's hand. KJ now gonna hold it, gonna throw it all the way down same side to Only. Only gonna go for a half court, but a little bit too high. Bounces off that Geo, but it will go into Kroger's hands. Kroger's drops the disc. It is a loose disc. KJ gets the disc. KJ gets stunned out by Jax. Jax with the recovery for Team 200. Gonna throw it all the way up. It is a failed dribble. It will be a loose disc going into Zuko's hands. Zuko gonna slap it down the middle, going into KJ. What a beautiful pass. KJ passing it once again beautifully to Only. Only now looking for that pass, gonna pass it all the way up to Zuko. Zuko gonna take the ones at the goalie and hit a backboard and a Chicago from Bappo.
That backboard was smooth, I must say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very good work.
Yeah, I know Bappo's feeling that one.
Absolutely, and we're gonna see 200 with their roll it again. We're just seeing definitely a much faster play. Mikey rolling out here with the disc, gonna get that pass very quickly over to Jax, trying to just play faster than Chaos's stacks. I think we're seeing Kroger's with it now, getting the pass up to Clock, getting it over to Bappo. Bappo slamming it in for the 2, seeing a much quicker rollout from 200 this round.
Absolutely, I think Team 200 sees how Chaos is playing and is now adjusting to that. Seeing where the flaws are, we're finally seeing that comfortable Team 200 fast plays coming here. But we don't know. Team Chaos could adjust to that as we see Zuko. Zuko quickly passing it to KJ. KJ gonna send it all the way down to Only. A little bit too far for Only. It is gonna be a stack race, and it will be Mikey getting it. Mikey passing it to Jax. Jax now with the disc. Looking at KJ coming at him, but he's gonna throw it back to Mikey. Mikey on station. Gonna hold it. Passing to Bappo. Bappo now. Great back! Behind the back, 2 points from Bappo. Wow.
Very good stuff. I must say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We're seeing 200 again start to pick up the pace, start to play a bit more aggressively, start to slip into that playstyle we know and love from them a bit. But we're gonna see how Chaos responds here, as we're seeing a misplay on the rollout maybe, as the pass does not connect. We're gonna see Jax take that for the 2, and that looks like it's going to be the round ender. Maybe not the best momentum you want to see, really.
Absolutely, and this does mark the first loss for Team Chaos, but that doesn't mean that this will be their first loss out of a game, as we see a KJ headbutt, but it goes into Mikey's hands. Mikey going for the half-court mail slot and dinging the half-court mail slot last second. Wow.
And that does indeed mark the end of the round, as we see 200 take this first round.
Absolutely. I think we saw 200 get comfortable with how Chaos is playing at the end, as we saw a little bit of pizzazz coming from Bappo with that behind-the-back flick in the goal. And we're seeing more faster, as when the first couple minutes happened, they were sitting there kind of playing it safe. You know, we saw a lot of resets. We saw a lot of them sitting not too far from each other, maybe 1 or 2 geos ahead. But now we're seeing that quick slap stacks that we're normally see from Team 200. It's beautiful. I wonder how Team Chaos is gonna adjust from this.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see how that happens, because the start of this round we saw very even gameplay. We saw both teams, I think, definitely playing a bit more of that paced, like as we were saying before, pass-based gameplay, where we're just trying to wait for those safe passes and whatnot, and plays were mainly made around like when mistakes were made. But then we saw 200 start to get faster and more aggressive at the end of the round, and I think we're gonna see the same trend for both teams. Is my prediction.
Absolutely. I just want to say a special shout out to Mr. Guinea in the chat. I don't know if you know, that is my brother. Very special in my heart. But we do see Chaos winning this neutral joust first. It is going into KJ's hand, but KJ was a little bit too short, but he still gets the disc. KJ now gonna pass it all the way up, maybe a cut past Zuko, but it was not connecting. This will go into Kroger's hands. Kroger's now gonna clear it all the way down the field. It is a loose disc stack race. Let's see who'll get there first. It looks like it will be Chaos getting it. KJ gonna throw it left tunnel, but it's an awkward balance, but it's okay. Zuko's there. Zuko now in tunnel. Gonna probably look for a reset, and it is a reset to KJ. KJ now gonna walk it upfield. Gonna throw it all the way up past Mikey to Milky Way. Milky Way resetting it to Zuko. Zuko now at the disc. Gonna reset it back to KJ. KJ slapping it back to Zuko. Zuko now at the disc yet again. Going to reset it back to KJ. It is a passing game from Team Chaos. Passing it to Milky Way. Milky Way passing it to Only. And Only stand still. Just throw it into the goal.
Chaos showing off their passing capabilities, may I add. Yeah. As I said before, we're seeing them play a bit more. I don't know if I would even say more aggressively, but definitely evasively. A very, very offensive push from Chaos. But we're gonna see 200 with a rollout as the interception and steal. Holy!
Now I think the tables have turned. I think Chaos is now getting really comfortable in how the playstyle of Team 200 is. I don't know. Maybe they've done a little bit of odd reviews behind the scenes, seeing their rollouts. This could be very interesting. But we will have Jax with this. Jax gonna push it down, throwing it to Kroger's, but it is a Kroger's miss. It's okay, Kroger gets a slap, but it is a bad slap. Jax sees this recovery. He's going to pass it down to Bappo, but it is not close enough for Bappo to grab. It is a loose disc. But once again, a miss from Team 200. Jax gets done by Only. Only has the disc now. Only gonna go for a half court. It is a little bit too far left. It is gonna be a loose disc, but it's okay. KJ's there. KJ with the disc. Gonna reset it back to Milky Way. Milky Way now gonna throw it down to Zuko. Zuko looking for a one-on-one goalie and submits that one-on-one with goalie.
Yeah, and I agree with the sentiment you're putting. I think Chaos is also starting to understand and read the plays that 200 is coming out here with, just as kind of 200 was at the end of that round. at the end of the first round, I should say. And we're going to see if 200 is able to respond to that here, as they're going for, again, a much more aggressive, faster rollout, trying to get the pass up to Jax. Jax is going to send it to Bappo, who sends it to Mikey, immediately sending it in for a very smooth and very fast two-pointer, bringing the first points of this round up for 200.
Absolutely. I wonder if Team 200 is going to have that significant lead as it had last round, because I think now Chaos is adjusted, like I've said before, but it looks like even more they've adjusted as KJ passes it to Milky Way. Milky Way going for an open three and bangs that open three. Wow.
Beautiful half court.
Absolutely beautiful. I think I've noticed the adjustment from Chaos has been their rollouts are now faster, as they were very Zuko to only on Cloud and only passing it straight across in Pac-Man. It was very passing, like not as conservative. But now we see only with the dunk. Wow. So, yeah. Very fast relays coming from Chaos now, and it is just showing that it works.
No, I agree. I think it's also definitely a response to... we're seeing... Yeah, actually, we are seeing that works, considering they're already up 10 points on 200. We're not even halfway through this round, so we're going to definitely have to see maybe some changes from 200 if they want a chance at taking this round back and taking this in 2 rounds. But... regardless, we're seeing them play now, and we're also seeing both teams are playing much faster, and we're going to see if they're able to take it, as it is a one-on-one with Milky Way, not able to save it. 2 more points for 200.
Absolutely. This is just... I feel like the phrase would be a battle of chameleons. Who can adjust to whoever the quickest, you know? But let's see here when we have Team Chaos with another fast rollout. Yes, it is. It is Zuko passing it to KJ. KJ passing it to Only. Only with the disc. Going for a half court and bangs that half court mail slot. Wow. It is just half court after half court with Team Chaos.
Definitely showing off their skill here. Yeah, I think Battle of Chameleons is actually quite a good analogy for this. Yeah. Really part of the game of Echo here is just adjusting to how your opponent is playing, and both teams are basically in I think a race to do that. And we're seeing that here, as we're seeing Mikey here with the disc. Got pressure from 3 members of Chaos. Gonna try to get the pass, but Milky Way is there to intercept it. Only trying to go for another mail slot half court, but not quite making this one. But the bounce back, it was a self-pass baby, sending it in for another 3. Only playing with the really aggressive goals here, and it is currently working. 200 is seriously gonna have to respond with something if they want a chance at stopping that from happening.
Absolutely. I think Team Chaos is just a half-court machine. You leave that goal open, they're going to take it, and 99% of the time, they're going to make it. We have Jax. Jax passing it to Kroger's. Kroger's now with the disc. Flailing his arms a little bit, doing a little dance move, trying to confuse that stack, going to pass it to Mikey. Mikey now with the disc. Going to hold it on Popcorn, going to move up a little bit more. Gets stunned out by that stack. It is Zuko grabbing the disc. Zuko going to pass it down to KJ. KJ now with the disc. Looking for a pass, going to reset it back to Milky Way. Milky Way now going to pass to Zuko. Zuko with the disc. Going for that one-on-one to goalie, but barely misses across pocket, but it's okay. KJ with recovery. KJ trying to go for it back, but what a beautiful save by Kroger's. But it's okay. KJ gets recovery. KJ passing to Milky Way. Milky Way now looking for that pass. Is going to pass, but intercepted by Bappo. Bappo gets it out a little bit before getting stunned out, but it's Team Chaos gets the recovery. Going to try to pass to Zuko, but it is hit off the Geo, an awkward bounce and a stack raise. Bappo gets the disc. Bappo looking for a reset, gets stunned out. That is not out of Blue's field yet, but it's okay. Mikey gets this. Mikey going for a half court. Is that in? It is dinged. So close, but a little bit too far right. Jax gets the disc though. Jax gonna reset it back to Kroger's. Kroger's now gonna hold the disc. Going to go for a pass to Bappo. Bappo gets that pass before getting stunned off to Jax, but it is a little bit too short. Only gets that slap off same tunnel, but it's okay. Kroger's is there. Kroger's going for a little pass to Mikey. Mikey now with the disc. Looking for maybe a one-on-one with the goalie, one-on-two with the goalie, and he's going to take that and hit bottom area of the goal.
What a little mini round there that we're seeing. As speaking of changes, I think that may have been a bit of a change, as we're seeing a way more aggressive defensive play from 200, and it worked out in their favor because they're able to get that disc. So while it is probably unlikely that they're going to take this round. They can definitely get momentum, and I think they're definitely starting to pick up on a playstyle that might combat Chaos. So we're going to see how that works, but we're seeing Chaos now responding to that by playing the rollout much slower instead of the very aggressive rollout that we're seeing before, as we see KJ with the disc. Just taking it, getting that pass over to Milky Way. Milky Way holding on to it. Gonna try to go for the open half court. Gonna hit it almost dead center. Chaos keeps going for the half courts, and they keep landing one after another.
It's just repetition. I don't know if you've noticed, their half courts have always been banged off the left side. I don't know if that's something they practice, but I feel like it's not just luck involved, you know what I mean? But it is going to be a quick relay, but Kroger is trying to slap it, but it hits station. It goes into Zuko's hands. Zuko going for another half court, but a great save by Jax. Jax going to pass it up to that Kroger's Mikey stack. They're going to go for a dribble, but Zuko is too fast. Zuko slaps it. It is going to be Bappo trying to go for it, but no, Milky Way is there. He slaps it. Jax hits the disc though. Jax gonna pass it up to Mikey. Mikey now with the disc. Looking for it. Dunks under KJ. And it goes for that left pocket on Zuko. Wow.
We're seeing, I think we're starting to see a little bit of a shift again. We're seeing 200 start to pick it up a bit. But again, as I said, I really like the analogy made earlier of the chameleons, because we're seeing almost immediately how that response changes. We're seeing how Chaos starts playing. They're changing their rollout a bit. They're trying to adjust. But there is definitely some reliance on those half courts, I think. But when the passes don't connect, it can be devastating as it ends up in Mikey's hands. But the save from Zuko as Bappo tries to make the shot only is gonna get that, gonna try to get the clear out, but it is not out. Only still is the first to get back to the though. Maybe trying to go for the under the shield though, but that is much too tight of an angle for it to happen. Does not quite happen. It is in Bappo's hands, and they're trying to play it a bit slow here, trying to wait for those passes because they do not want another turnover. They do not want to see a mercy of blood on their hands as Zuko tries to get it out. But there is certainly, I think there's some panic in the arena right now because we're seeing quite a few slip-ups here as we're seeing KJ with that again. KJ with it. Gonna get the stun. Nope, not stun and steal. Now it's a stun and steal as only and Bappo stun out each other. And the last 2 seconds on the clock, that is the end of a very eventful round 2 in the favor of Chaos. 21-8.
Absolutely. What a table flip of a round this was. We saw that huge lead coming from Team 200 off that first round, and now almost, not good at math, but like an 11-point lead coming from Team Chaos on Team 200. You know, but one thing I can give Team 200, and specifically a member, Mikey, for, is that we've seen him take the 1v3s when he's in bubble. He's not scared of that clumped up members. He's focused on scoring that goal, and no one's going to stop him. As we've seen him hit those cross pockets, hit those bottom pockets. He just lands it in for Team 200.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing a lot of individual play. I saw Only make so many half courts, and it wasn't just Only too, but especially those middle slots. I think is just we saw Chaos just insane half courts, and then 200 start to pick up on that, and Chaos immediately respond. I'm really enjoying how these teams are very reactive. They're very responsive, I think, and I don't want to say they're always like that, but I think definitely in a situation like this where they are perhaps in a situation where they may be meeting their match. And so I have no predictions for round 3. I have nothing. I do not know where this is going.
Absolutely, this should go either way, but we will see Team Chaos getting it. Zuko trying to pass to KJ, but it's okay. Only's there for the recovery and putting a quick 6-second 2 points on for Team Chaos. Now, I know this is absolutely. I know this is a very intense. I would say the atmosphere is very tense, but I do have to ask, what are you drinking today, Penny?
Water as always.
Water as always, and feel free, I'm asking everyone, what are they drinking today? But as we focus on this game, we're gonna have Mikey passing it to Jax trying to pass to Bappo, but it's okay. KJ is there to steal that disc, and it's gonna be Zuko getting the recovery, gonna throw it down the field. It is going to be a loose disc stack race, my favorite word, but KJ's gonna get the recovery and putting another 2 points for Team Chaos.
And bam, another 2 points. Very nice, very fast. Bing bang boom. as they say. Yes, we're seeing very fast goals from Chaos once again, picking up the pace immediately. 200, I'm curious to see how they're going to play their rollout again here, because we did just see one, but I'm curious if they're going to make any switch-ups here, as they did just get a whole round of Chaos just ramping the pace up, ramping the aggression up. So I'm curious to see if 200 is going to respond maybe by slowing down potentially, or speeding up. But Zuko is going to get the steal, as they are not very fond of those passbacks. Gonna bounce off, but KJ gets it again, bringing in for another 3.
Absolutely. Now, I just think Chaos is just a 3-point machine at this point. Like, it doesn't matter how far, if it's short, far, they're just gonna see the mistake, see the open goal, don't need to think about it, just throw it in. But we'll see how Team 200 responds with Kroger's. Kroger's dropping the disc, but it's okay, he gets the recovery, gonna pass it down to Mikey. Mikey now gonna look for a pass, gonna pass it down to Kroger's yet again. Kroger's looking for that possibly Bappa, and he does find Bappa. Bappa resetting it back to Mikey. Mikey quickly throwing it back to Jax. Jax throwing it back to Kroger's. Kroger's looking for that goal, but there is someone back there. So now he's going to look for a possible reset or pass. He does not know. He is going to choose the reset to Jax. Jax now to this. He's going to throw it all the way up to Mikey. Mikey now to this. Going to try to go at a beautiful cross pocket on Milky Way.
Very good stuff. We're seeing 200 get all, points much earlier than they did last round, of course. So, yeah, good plays, very good passes, as always. We're going to see Chaos have their first rollout of this round, see how they decide to play this. Zuko gonna hold on to that, draw out the pressure from Jax, wait it out, get the pass over. It's going to end up in Only's hands. Only going to go for that open 3 once again. Another dime, time after time. I think what may need to happen is 200 may need to be more, perhaps more diligent slightly with their defensive plays, because really what's happening is Chaos is bringing their offense up very hot, because those threes, one after another, if no one is in goal, a 3 is happening without a doubt at this point. And we're going to see how 200 decides to play this, because we're seeing them in Chaos' side again. But the steal, once again, Kroger's is on top of that, though, but the stack is incoming. They're not going to be able to stop it from happening. That is another 3 points up for Chaos. 12-2. We're barely into the start of this round.
Absolutely. Now, I will want to say, this happened 2 scores ago. But I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if it was intentional or it was just luck. But that Zuko full court bounce to Only for that 3 points. I just want to go back and highlight that, as that was a dime. Intentional or not, still a dime. But we will have Bappo. Bappo passing it to Kroger's. Kroger's now to the disc, looking for a pass. He is going to choose to pass to. There's going to be a slap from Bappo. No, to Bappo. Bappo going to slap it back to Mikey. But it is unfortunately not there, as we're going to have Zuko get the recovery. Zuko slapping it down. Supposed to be the Only, but Jax is there. Now Jax throwing it to Kroger's. Kroger's trying to land it to Bappo, but no, KJ is there. KJ going to throw it down right tunnel. Let's see who gets there first. It is going to be Zuko, but Zuko gets stolen by Bappo. Bappo now at the disc. It's going to try to throw it to that stack, but unfortunately it is an awkward bounce. But it's okay. Bappo gets that recovery. Going to pass to Kroger's. Kroger's now at the disc. He's going to do a little bit of jumping jacks as he throws it down to Mikey, but Mikey's a little bit too short, but it's okay. Bappo's here, but no, Bappo gets stunned out. But it's okay. Mikey slaps back to Jax. Jax on station now. He's going to throw it all the way up to Mikey. Mikey now at the disc. Looking for that, and he does find Bappo on clock. Bappo does a little bit of left and right as he slams it in for another 2 points for Team 200.
Another 2 points indeed. And we're seeing again that we're seeing a lot more back and forth action, which is exciting, because that means things are starting to balance out a bit. But I'm gonna see if any call and responses happen here. Zuko going for an immediate pass over to KJ. KJ gonna hold on to it, draw out the pressure a bit more in that midfield, that valley zone. Only holding on to that, getting the pass cross arena over to Milky Way, who is sending it in for the 2 points. Very quick rollout. Very good play from Chaos once again.
Absolutely. I think Chaos is doing a little bit of passive, and then aggressive, just to confuse Team 200 as to not figure out what exactly they're doing until it might be too late. But as we're going to see a quick rollout going from Team 200 as Kroger gets the disc. Kroger's going to pass it to Jax. Jax gonna pass it all the way down to Bappo, who's in the open. Bappo gonna go for the cut pass to Mikey, but barely hits shield. But that's, KJ's gonna get there. KJ looking for that tunnel, but it hits off Cloud. It is a loose disc, but KJ is there to get that recovery. KJ throwing it down, same tunnel, hits station, bouncing down. It will be only getting the disc, only. That is the open three. Is he gonna take it? No, but it is stunned out, and he does take a 2 points. Yet indeed. Yet indeed.
Yeah, indeed.
Yet indeed.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. I'm very curious as to if 200 can actually has a chance of taking this back. It is definitely not something that can be ruled out, because this is Echo and anything can happen in 3.5 minutes. But it is going to be a very difficult play with how aggressive Chaos is playing. And speaking of aggressive, another 3-point, not quite a half court, but still from quite some distance, 19 meters, hitting another open 3-pointer, bringing Chaos up by another 3 points.
Absolutely. Once again, open goal. Can't leave it open for Chaos. I don't know whether Team 200 is going to keep someone back, but it does look like Jax is going to do a weird station bounce to Kroger's, and it is going to be passed to Bappo. But that is Bappo trying to go for 3 points, but Milky Way is there. Milky Way holding on, possibly wasting a little bit of time as he resets to Zuko. Zuko going to pass it up to KJ. KJ throwing it all the way down to Only. Only going for another half court, and is a little bit too low as Mikey gets the recovery. Mikey gonna throw it up to Jax. Jax now is gonna throw it down to that stack as Bappo gets it. Bappo sees Zuko, so he's not going as little bit of a J train and throws it in for a 2 points for Team 200.
I haven't seen one of those in a while.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah,
Indeed.
I wanna say 200's rollout there was really good. That was just a really good save from Milky Way, I think. So props to both sides on that one, honestly. But yeah, and they were still able to get the points in the end. And really, that's what ends up mattering. As we're going to see Only getting that pass over to Milky Way. Milky Way moving on again. I'm curious to see if we're going to see that same archetype of play again. No, maybe not quite, as Only pushing into the bubble, trying to get the pass up to KJ, but it does not connect. It is in the Mikey Bappo stack. What? Hang on, we're in mid again. Bappo gets it as the stack race happens, but it ends up in Zuko's hands, not quite connecting to one of their teammates. KJ with that again, I believe. We're seeing that over to Kroger's passing that down to Mikey. Mikey trying to find those passes. They know they got pressure on them. They're trying to get it out in time. Bappo has that. Gets the pass back over to Mikey. The cross passes one after another, bringing it in for 3 points right on the edge of the bubble at 8 meters, bringing 200 up by another few points.
What a beautiful twirl past KJ and bottom pocket on goalie. Hey, Team 200 come back in a minute. We'll see. We'll see what Chaos has in store. As Zuko gonna throw it down to KJ. KJ now gonna do a little bit of juking as he passes it to Only. Only holding the disc a little bit, wasting a little bit of time. As he break checks Bappo and throws it to Milky Way. Milky Way off shield. Gonna do a little bit of a looks like a attempted cut pass off a boot, but that is a loose disc. Bappo going for a 3, but what a save from Milky Way as he snatches it behind Bappo. That's okay. Kroger's passing it back to Bappo. Bappo now going for a top pocket, but it dings the top pocket. KJ gets the disc now. KJ gonna throw it all the way down. It is a loose disc stack race as Only gets it. Only going for a 3 points, but Mikey is there to save it. Mikey throws it down to Kroger's. Kroger's slapping it down to Jax. Jax going for 3 points, but that is a ding, a little bit too low. We're gonna have Bappo getting the disc. Bappo slapping it down to Mikey. Mikey now with the disc. Going for a little bit of jukes under 2 people and slams it in for the final 2 points of the game.
That wraps up the round.
And this submits it. Team Chaos is now undefeated and dethrones Team 200 with their undefeated streak. What a game.
Tell me about it. Yeah, that is a game for the ages right there. Definitely some insane plays from both sides. Chaos at the very consistent half courts for some reason, the 3-pointers all the time. 200 fighting back with those aggressive plays that we love to see from them. Just everything about this match. I'm kind of left speechless on that. I can't lie.
Absolutely. This is their first loss in a while. But that's not to say they didn't put up a fight, as we saw Mikey with 21 points for Team 200. And then we had Bappo with 10 points. They were putting up a fight. Those two were fighting past multiple opponents and submitting open threes or maybe very congested threes on goalies.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I also really like the point distribution we're seeing is kind of just crazy. The sheer amount of points that were scored, the sheer amount of possession and stuns, and just the stats, everything about this match is just is just actually insane. So yes, a very good plays. We're seeing Chaos continue their win streak, their insane win streak. 200, as you said, yes, first loss in quite some time, unfortunately for them, but regardless, yeah, as you said, both teams put up a very good fight. Both teams were, I would say, pretty evenly matched, but Chaos was just able to pull ahead, get those reads, get those really good offensive plays, and that was able to get them to pull ahead by quite a decent margin, I think.
Absolutely. First round was just, as the saying goes, they dipped their toe in the water, see what Team 200 had in stored, and once they saw, just hammered it down with those open three half-courts. Do you have any final last words, Penny, before anything?
I think that is everything. Hope everyone has a great night.
Absolutely. As ever, thank you for joining the stream. Thank you for choosing to play Echo Master League. And please stay tuned for next stream. Have a great rest of the night and the rest of the week.